It was crazy, and I say fuck it, and I'm singing, this kind of things just start to pass through my mind, and I just slap in my face in my thoughts like pay attention to the show, bitch.
Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Belgian Jasper. If this is your first time in the channel, hit subscribe right now.
Prika, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I know it's always hectic when you have to do these things. But let's just start with one thing I saw you recently post, about a mutual friend that we have, Guillermo Miranda. You were wishing him all the best. Last time I spoke him was at Grass Pop, and he told me, I learned to deal with chaos because I've been a tour manager, and I know that he recently was your tour manager. So what chaos did you bring upon him to make him talk about that?
Look, I think we are a very easy band to deal because we are very simple. Actually, he was working as a tour manager for many other bands, not only with Nervosa. But of course, sometimes we have some challenges. Example, when we were going to play in Wacken recently, like 2 weeks ago, we had everything's going wrong.
Right.
Example, I bought the flights for we go to Wacken one day before, but our flight was canceled and there was no flight in the same day to go to Wacken, and we were in Vienna. We're supposed to have more flights in the same day, but there was no option at all. We didn't have time enough to arrive by train or car or whatever. It was a super long travel. So the only option was the next day, very early in the morning, but with one stop. So all the wrong possibility that could happen is we lose all our equipment, and actually we would not arrive on time because we will arrive in Hamburg exactly in the show time.
Yeah.
But luckily, everything in Wacken was delayed. They have a lot of problems with the rains and everything, technical problems. So our stage was 3 hours delayed. So this helped us. But all of these nightmares happening, and then we got one luggage lost in Vienna that was simply never left, never left there. And many this kind of situation that can happen, with every band, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But me and Guilherme, we are very good friends for long years. It's a pleasure to work with him. I'm super happy what he's living now with his band, with this new challenge and how he faced it. And actually we have a pretty similar situation right now, and we are helping each other with a lot of experience changes,
Yeah, for sure. And then, Wacken, what a crazy year it was for that festival. But then when you finally get there, how was your show?
Oh, it was crazy, amazing experience, because we waited so much for this moment to arrive, because we were confirmed in Wacken 2020 and was canceled the Wacken because of the COVID. And then it was postponed in 2021, didn't happen. 2022, they decided to change completely the lineup, and we were not included. And finally, 2023, we are there. And then, one day before, they started to say, don't go to the festival because there is a huge mud, the situation there. It's not safe for everyone. And we were fuck, maybe this will not happen. But when we arrived there, we said, okay, we arrived on time. We can make this happen. We were okay. We are ready here. We are living this experience. We could breathe a bit. There was a lot of delays, but the people were under a terrible weather. But it was 1,000 and 1,000 people. There was, I think, more than 30,000 people there. And we played in one of the main stage of the day. I think it was the main stage of the day. And we were one of the second band of the day, and to open the Wacken actually, and and I remember the first song when I get in on stage, I saw a lot of Brazilian flags there, a lot of Latin American flags for around the world. And I say, fuck, this is happening. It was crazy. And I say, fuck it, and I'm singing, this kind of things just start to pass through my mind, and I just slap in my face in my thoughts, like pay attention to the show, bitch. And after the show, we were like, fuck, we could just take out a huge weight in our back. It was a dream come true.
For sure. Although, I mean, it was a dream that came true in at times a nightmare kind of way. But I'm glad that you finally were able to check that one off of the bucket list. Well, awesome. Well, fantastic. Well, and obviously the show at Wacken is part of the build up towards the new album that is coming out. That everybody has seen a few things been released already, as we're almost used to from Nervosa, but with the changes that happened and giving adding additional layers to the sound with more instruments being played, more than ever maybe. We're hearing those influences from Kreator, Obituary, Vader, and I would say on Endless Ambition a lot of Sodom as well in the guitar sound. Am I just seeing things, or is it true that you kind of went even more to those very early like death and thrash influences for this record?
I just enjoying so much because I'm loving everything that you are saying, because I love all of these bands and they are for sure my biggest influences ever. Mm-hmm. And also, but for this new album, we also wanted to open a bit more the doors and bring different kind of influence that was never bring it to the songs and make an album with more diversity.
Right.
Like I think Perpetual Chaos had a lot of diversity, and I think this was one of the highlights, of this album. But we want to bring it even more because I have new growths with the different thoughts, and I had a huge partner in the compositions that was Helena. Mm-hmm. So also I want to give her opportunity to bring her style to the band. So this album also we have a lot of influences from the old school heavy metal, because she's very like her favorite band is Scorpions, this kind of heavy metal, and you can listen here and there, but also keeping the roots like with the thrash metal with a death metal influence. But also there's one song that with a lot of dark vibes. Another one it's more punk, and I like to kidding with this kind of things, this possibility.
How different is it then when you're writing for two guitarists than for one guitar? Because that completely changes the dynamic of the band.
Look, I felt really comfortable and relief, to be honest, because before Nervosa, all the bands that I played before was with the two guitars. Mm-hmm. So I was used it, and I learned how to compose songs thinking two guitars. So for me, for all of this year, it was a big challenge to adapt my ideas for one guitar, So when I have two guitars, I feel relief, like, yes, I can put all my ideas because everything is possible to happen.
Yeah.
And also Helena, it's a girl there is no limit to play, we can throw everything in her hand and she's able to play. Also, this contributes a lot for we be freedom to compose and write. And she was inspired me a lot to compose a lot of things. And actually, I was inspired her in somehow too. And we have a lot of fun composing this new album.
Yeah.
We could pass this a bit, for the people that is listening to this album. I hope so.
So I mean, it's obviously not just because let's face it. Even when the album will be out, and you're gonna start, playing even more shows, you're not only going to play the new songs. So, how has it been? Because it must be weird to, you've got a decade of Nervosa material, some of them, classics that the fans want to hear every show, that now are played with two guitars, and where the lead guitars are not played by you because you're focusing also on singing. So how do you already, with the shows that you've played, you've toured the UK already and you've done, you know, big festival shows, have you already noticed how some of these more classic songs have changed already now that you've got a different way of playing them?
Look, the old songs for me, it's my comfortable zone because this kind of song I can play without light, you know, like in the dark with the closed eyes, because I'm playing this example. Death is a song that I'm playing for 10 years.
Right.
So it's a song that I don't need to think about it. And it was the songs that I start to rehearse when I was singing and playing, because these songs I was totally, and also example in Death, I have a lot of backing vocals there. So half of the song I was already singing. There is some phrases that it's my voice alone singing. So it was my easiest part to start. But to be honest with you, we didn't have a time to do new arrangements for the old songs. So everything that Helena is playing, basically, it's everything that I'm playing. It's just double guitar. We plan, that is a new nice thing. We plan to rearrange the songs maybe in the future, not for now because we are focused in the new album, but for the future, yes. We have intentions to re-record, and then in this moment we can rearrange the songs. But the priority now it's focus on the new songs. It's a very nice process, you know, to have the chance to rebuild the song again.
So the album will be called Jailbreak. Is there anything Lizzie tribute in there, or is that just a pure coincidence?
It's a pure coincidence. Actually, I'm a big fan of Tin Liz, ACDC example.
Yeah.
And I know that we will face a bit this challenge, but actually we are totally different style of music.
Of course,
and a totally different era, like 40 years after, 30 years after. So we are here giving a different perspective of the conception of the name of the album. It's more about when we finished the album, we were trying to find a title of the album. It was very hard because the lyrics talks about different kind of topics. You know, it's very hard united everything and make a common sense. You know? But then, like me and Helena, we have a passion in common with the motorcycles and everything. And we were trying to manage a vibe that can fit with the motorcycles. And actually we were talking, and one of the things that make us to like motorcycle is the freedom sensation, you know. Mm-hmm. So then we started to trip in ideas, and then I say, yes, jailbreak, because it's like break the rules, you know, be free and be proud of who you are, and not make something that you don't like just because of money or because to fit in a society standard things, you know. But it's about to enjoy the life because it's short. So it's a time to be happy and wake up with these things and break the chains, you know, like do more about that, the jailbreak. And the way that we could relate with other topics in the album, example, we have a song called Suffocare. It talks about a toxic relationship, not only between man and woman, but also about family, friendship, all the relationships, the type of relationships. And it can fit pretty well, the jailbreak, because it's just like just realize what is wrong and be free about this bullshit. You don't deserve it, you know. Like, or example, when the truth is a lie, it talks about the manipulation, you know, like fake news, use a piece of the truth to construct a lie just to pretend that it's a truth. This kind of manipulation is like the same thing, like open your eyes and then be free of this shit. You know, always as a talk about the jailbreak. You know? And somehow we could manage to find this.
Okay. Well, and the cover art that you're using, we see basically somebody with either their face, somebody that ripped off their face or a mask, or is putting on a mask. But basically, based on what you just told me, that should I interpret the cover art as somebody that is ripping off the fake facade to be their own true self?
Yes, this was inspired in a piece of the meaning of the Jailbreak, because also when we were talking about the Jailbreak, we were talking about a bit about the social medias example, because the people create a character just to have more attention, you know, to have more likes, more interaction, numbers and numbers and numbers. But this is not the real person. You know?
Right.
Like, it's not the people they are. Like, take your mask out, be proud of who you are, you know, and if you are an interesting person, you know, if you have something cool to say, doesn't matter of your appearance or how you look like, you know, the people gonna follow you, but in a natural way, not in a forced way, you know. And this kind of things brings you numbers, but don't brings you happiness. What brings you happiness, it's accept who you are. You know? So, and then taking the mask out is like, I'm getting free.
Now, I'm sure that you've have had some moments that you were thinking as well about who you are. This has been, regardless of how we look at it, it's been a crazy couple of years for you. It's been quite the roller coaster throughout these last, couple of years. What would you say? What's the biggest lesson that you've learned?
Oh, it's hard because there's so many lessons there. It's very hard, but actually, it's like don't waste more time, my time, with remorsing things or with the angerness, frustration, this kind of things. I'm a very positive person, and if I look behind, I don't regret with anything that I decided, but also, of course, there's some stuff that I learned that I could do it different. Yes, today I know because I have the knowledge, but in that time I didn't. So that's why I don't regret, I cannot blame myself with everything. I didn't know. And also all about this pressure that people are creating about, but you are changing the lineup again, I learned that I need to be far away from this because I know very well what's happening. The people doesn't know, who have bands know very well how these things works, and I'm very fine with this. And I know that the time will explain, will show everything. I'm not afraid, I'm just concentrated and do my job, and be a better version of me every time that I have a chance again. Just like this. I'm human, I commit mistakes like everyone, but this kind of very hard judgment, I think I don't need to explain so much. It's just the time will answer everything.
I mean, obviously, I think we all saw people reacting and commenting and some with more judgment than others. In the world of metal, well, in the world of every kind of artistry and music, it is very common to see changes like this. And there are a million examples of bands where there is one person that is the legacy, the owner of the legacy, sets the vision. Do you think, and if you don't like the question, don't answer it and we can move on, but do you think less people would have even bothered if Nervosa wasn't an all-female band and if you weren't a female? Nobody cares that Dave Mustaine gets in the lineup every album, right? It's just normal.
They are calling me Dave Mustaine, but I like it because he's a very great and successful musician. I really like that.
That's true.
But there is one detail, I never fired anyone. This is a better detail. And I think the problem with this kind of impression that the people have, it's like I have a completely lineup change twice in a very short period, But I think what the people has to consider, it's like when I had the chance to rebuild the band, it was in the middle of the pandemic situation, and I didn't know the girls in person. And there's nothing wrong with them, by the way. They are great persons, and I wish them all the best. But I mean, they didn't have so much experience, you know. And even if I let everything clear and I put it in the contract, like I had a lot of a conversation, like Nervosa is a very active band. We play the entire year. We have a lot of plans here to tour and blah, 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 blah. Of course, they were like, you know, feeling wonderful with everything that we're talking, but they have no idea like how it's living that thing, and that you really don't have time for nothing else. You know, and this kind of things hits them, you know, like in a way that they were feeling like questioning themselves. Like example, Helena Nota, she had health problems. She say like, I can't tour constantly. And even a tour example, if we're super far away from my home example, it's a very serious health problem, and I'm really afraid I can't play, I can't move, and I don't want to harm the band. And this is totally understandable. She didn't know that, you know. It was an opportunity to try for me, from my side, and also for her. You know, it was the first tour, like big tour, in a big scale that she was doing, and she didn't know. So also for the other girls was realizing like, it's too much time doing one thing. I want to have time to make another things. They realized things, you know. It's all of them was an experience. And the girls that are coming also, apart from Hel Pyre, example, the other girls didn't have opportunity, never toured before. They are touring right now with Nervosa. But we never know the future, you know. If I have the completed lineup change again, that was not in the same time, but it was in the same years,
for sure,
months after, you know, and it was very unlucky. I don't know, you know. But yes, if it's frustration for the crowd, imagine it for me that it was
100%
everything in that. But also I wanted to play with happy people, you know, and I wish them to be happy too. So I'm more relaxed about this topic. But in the beginning was, you know, a bit uncomfortable for me, but I'm totally fine with it. I think it's because everybody's super involved. They are fans, you know. If you said like, I love it so much, why, you know, like it's broken. I understand the frustration, you know, but what I cannot understand is like the extreme judgment, you know, like hating me because of that. Like, come on, if you a surfer, can you imagine for me? Like, come on. But it's okay. I know who I am and what I did. Also, I'm totally fine. But in the beginning was too much, you know. But actually, the fans are amazing with Nervosa and with me. They are supporting a lot, and this brings me a lot of relief too.
You mentioned, to wrap us up maybe, because you know, you had to go through a bunch of that bullshit and extra pressure and very uncomfortable situation at first. That also, you know, aligned with you moving to Europe and you know, moving away from Brazil. You mentioned that some of the songs are about, you know, family, and you said specifically toxic relationships also within family, but you would only think about toxic relationships in family if family is important to you. So how, as amazing as I'm sure it is and super exciting being in Greece and working with Helena and all the others, how is it for you? How are you doing living on the other side of the world in this completely new chapter of your life?
For me, it's very hard, you know, like because I have a really good relationship with my family and I miss them. But I have my brother also living in Europe, and that is bringing half of my family close to me, you know.
Yeah.
And it's something that it's didn't came from nothing. It's not something that is totally new because I always was on tour, and I didn't have so much chances to see that in person. Example, when I was living in Brazil, so the situation didn't change so much. Example, before I was seeing my family 4 times per year. Now I'm seeing twice.
Right.
But, you know, that doesn't change so much. The most important thing is use the internet in a positive way, that it's helping us to keep in contact, doing video calls, talking constantly, be present. It's not about be physically, you know. It's about the talks and attention and these kind of things. And I'm still like learning constantly how to deal with this, but I think we are doing great.
Yeah.
About the song Suffocare, it's about some kind of experience that I had, like not I had, but I observed from what was going on surrounding, you know, like around me with some kind of situation. I'm very detailed. I get some details here and there. And I was just noting stuff for inspiration for my lyrics. It came from a totally different ways of Suffocare.
Prika, I first of all apologize for turning this interview into a little bit of a therapy session, but I very much appreciate you know, your openness and you know, sharing with me. I want to be respectful of your time, and we've already used up all the time, and I know that you probably have to run to another interview, so I appreciate you know, spending this time with you. I'm excited to see what's coming next for Nervosa, and we're just a few weeks away now from the release of the new album, so that's super fun. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you again.
Yes, thank you so much. Don't be sorry about the therapy side. Actually, it's the moments that the band is leaving, it's making part of the moment. And I think it's important to talk about it. So thank you for this opportunity, you know, to open myself, my ideas and my thoughts, my vision about everything. It's very important. And really thank you so much for the support, you know, and to be very kind with me and with Nervosa always. And this is a very important step for keeping Nervosa living, you know, and thank you so much. And I hope to see you soon in person again very soon.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.